The Galactic Concord prided itself on its cartographic completeness. After tens of thousands of years, every known corner of the galaxy had been mapped, categorized, and filed away in endless archives. Planets were graded too, from the serene Class 1 garden worlds to the dreaded Class 14 death worlds. A Class 14 designation was no small matter. Such worlds were so dangerous, so fundamentally hostile to life, that even a Concord fleet armed to the teeth dared not linger long. They were whispered of in military academies and cited in bureaucratic cautionary tales. So when a remote exploration probe sent back coordinates indicating it had stumbled upon one of these legendary worlds, catalogued only as DVX 9914, there was uproar. The Council dispatched a task force immediately. At its head was Commander Telvon of the Lirasai, a reptilian strategist who had spent his career calculating risks. He was not pleased. "We're wasting resources," Telvon hissed as the fleet approached. "Why investigate what is better left untouched? The designation is clear. A Class 14. Nothing lives there. Nothing sane could." But the Council was insistent. There were rumors, persistent and troubling, of strange signals radiating from the planet. Not random static but structured bursts. Signals that bore the telltale rhythm of civilization. When the fleet dropped from warp, the planet came into view. A blue and green sphere swirled with white clouds. Telvon frowned. "That cannot be right." Deathworlds were usually jagged scars of rock, steaming volcanism, oceans of acid, or endless deserts of lethal radiation. But this one, this Earth, looked deceptively calm. Deceptive. That was the word that stuck. Middle. The first landing team disembarked under full combat protocol. The soldiers wore adaptive hazard armor, their sensors sweeping constantly. Their assignment was simple: retrieve samples, confirm the presence of sapient life, and return. They landed in a place humans call the Amazon. The moment the hatch opened, the jungle roared. Towering trees reached into the sky, their roots strangling each other in competition. Airborne insects, each the size of Telvon's thumb, hurled themselves at the soldiers with suicidal persistence. The humidity alone nearly fried their environment suits. "By the void," whispered one soldier as a serpent thicker than his body slithered past. Another cursed when a colony of ants began swarming their armored boots, mandibles clamping with enough force to leave dents. The squad barely survived 10 minutes before retreating back to their ship, 2 soldiers requiring medical evacuation after venomous stings bypassed their seals. Reports poured in from other landing zones. Deserts hot enough to melt steel by day, frozen wastes at night, storms producing bolts of plasma that split mountains, oceans filled with predators that hunted by scenting fear hormones. Telvon stared at the compiled data in disbelief. This world is alive with murder. And yet, amidst all of this, there were cities. Glimmering structures, machines streaking through the sky, glowing towers clustered around rivers and coastlines. Civilization. Not just surviving but thriving. It was unthinkable. The task force made cautious contact. A delegation of humans received them with polite curiosity. They were not armored. They carried no visible weapons. They walked barefoot on grass that, by Concord standards, was sharp enough to slice unprotected feet. Yet the humans smiled, extended their hands in greeting, and offered food. Telvon declined at first, until one of his junior officers, a curious scholar, accepted a piece of fruit. The officer gagged immediately, overwhelmed by its intensity. "It's toxic," the officer sputtered, dropping it. Human laughed. "Toxic. That's just a mango, friend." He then ate 3 in quick succession, juice dripping down his chin. Telvon stared. They eat poison for pleasure. Worse revelations followed. The humans casually described their planet's apex predators: bears, crocodiles, sharks. When the aliens expressed horror, the humans shrugged. Oh, those. Dangerous, sure, but we've got ways to deal with them. Telvon demanded clarification. They mean they hunt them, one interpreter explained. For food. The fleet command chambers erupted in alarm. To hunt a predator was madness. To eat it was suicidal. And yet these humans spoke of it as if it were sport. Telvon decided on a test. The Concorde fleet carried training beasts, synthetic predators designed for military simulations. They were replicas of apex hunters from Class 9 Deathworlds, used to toughen soldiers. One evening, Telvon arranged for a demonstration. The humans were invited aboard, then sealed into the simulation chamber with 3 of the creatures. Telvon expected panic, perhaps screaming, perhaps death. Instead, the humans improvised. They grabbed pipes, chains, whatever lay at hand. They fought with a kind of brutal creativity no Concorde manual could have prepared for. They used teamwork, ambush tactics, even one man's belt as a makeshift whip. By the end, the beasts lay dead. The humans were bloodied but laughing, boasting of who had struck the final blow. One woman grinned, knuckles raw. That was fun. Got anything harder? The Concorde officers who witnessed it never forgot the silence that followed. Escalation. Word spread fast through the fleet. Rumors became legend. Humans drank corrosive ethanol for enjoyment. They willingly leapt from great heights with only fabric strapped to their backs. Parachuting, they domesticated predators like wolves and tigers into companions. Telvon, increasingly unsettled, convened a council meeting via subspace. This planet, he growled, is not simply a Class 14 death world. It is occupied by sapients who treat it as a playground. Do you understand the implications? They do not merely endure danger, they thrive in it. The council debated endlessly. Some argued for immediate alliance. Others urged quarantine. A few whispered of preemptive destruction. That was when the storm came. A thunderstorm unlike any the Concorde had witnessed boiled across the landing zone. Lightning struck the ground with the energy of starship cannons. Winds tore through the fleet's stabilizers. Telvon's warship was nearly ripped from the sky. Yet when he looked down, the humans were outside, laughing, running in the rain. Children splashing in water that could fry circuitry. Adults shouting to each other through deafening thunderclaps. One even held a metal rod to the sky until lightning struck, illuminating him in a halo of blue fire. The aliens screamed in horror. The humans only cheered louder. Telvon realized then why the Concorde had never catalogued this world before. Probes had not survived long enough. Automated analysis had deemed it uninhabitable. But humans called it home. Ending. In the weeks that followed, Telvon's perspective shifted. He began speaking with human scientists, soldiers, and farmers. He learned that their bones were denser than most species, their immune systems hyper-aggressive, their psychology wired not for safety but for risk. They had evolved not despite Earth's hostility, but because of it. Every storm, every predator, every natural disaster had forged them into something unyielding. One evening, Telvon stood on a human balcony overlooking a city that pulsed with neon light. His human counterpart, a woman named Dr. Elena Marquez, leaned beside him.